Former South Carolina Governor Nikki Haley has been on the campaign trail since she announced that she is running for president. Today she made a stop here in Columbia to sit down with Andrea Mock to talk more about her campaign. Andrea.
That's right, Darcy. She has been called Representative Haley, Governor Haley, and Ambassador Haley. And now Nikki Haley is hoping that the country will call her president. Ambassador Haley stopped by WLTX today to talk about why she felt compelled to run and why she says always being underestimated is part of her strength. The last time our viewers saw you regularly, of course, you were at the UN. You were ambassador of the UN, and you decided to step away from that. What called you back?
Yeah, it really was the fact that I watched the country just fall apart. You know, whether it was the debacle that we saw in Afghanistan, whether it was the fact that we saw all of these stimulus packages and spending and the debt increase, whether it was the fact that we saw our kids suffering in schools, and the fact that Republicans lost the midterms. I mean, at some point we had to fix this. At some point, and I didn't trust anybody else to do it.
In 2021, you said that if President Trump was running again for president, you would not run or at least speak to him. Did you have that conversation, and how have your thoughts changed now?
I did have that conversation with him before I ran. One, out of respect for the fact that he gave me the job and we had a great working relationship. And two, I wanted him to know that I was serious about running. And you know, what I told him was that I was proud to serve in the administration when it came to the foreign policy and all the things that we did. But this is time for America to move forward. We need a new generation. We've got to leave the baggage and the drama behind. We've got serious issues and the distractions are killing us.
Recently, you've been talking a lot about a competency test for any politician who's over 75 years old, and you also said in an interview that President Biden would be unlikely to make it to 86. Tell me about these competency tests and why you are being very outspoken about this.
This isn't about age, it's not about politics. This is about the fact that if we have someone representing us in Washington, don't we want them to be at the top of their game? These are people deciding our national security. These are people deciding our kids' economic future. We need to know that they're ready. You can have an 86-year-old that is a young 86-year-old. You can have an 86-year-old that's in decline. We have watched President Biden in decline. Americans deserve to know that they've got the right people up there. These are tests that just basically make you name certain things with the same letter or what month and what day it is. We deserve to know that. It's about transparency. I've always fought for transparency, and that's what I'm fighting for now.
Okay, final question. Let's talk about polling numbers, and I know that this is something that you find as an extra challenge.
When I ran for governor, I ran against an attorney general, a lieutenant governor, a very popular congressman, and a state senator. I was Nikki who, I was 3% in the polls, I had the least amount of money, but I worked this state like no one else and earned their support, and I won. I have been underestimated all my life, and it's a blessing because it makes me scrappy. No one will outwork me in this race.
Well, among other policy discussions, Haley says that she would close the border to Mexico, which she says would help the fentanyl crisis here in America, and draw a much stronger line with China using force in cases like the recent spy balloon debacle and the Chinese aircraft interference. Now, tomorrow, Haley will be campaigning again here in our state, holding another rally, this time in Greer. It's at the Cannon Center, and it's kicking off at 7 p.m. Darcy?
Andrea, thank you.